Today marks day number 55 of the $1,000 account challenge, and today we are up $1,709 in the account, or 21% of the total portfolio balance. Very big day. Now, if you don't know, my name is Gates. I'm taking $1,000 and I'm day trading options to see how far we can grow this account. Today, I traded a high probability setup and I sized up on this high probability setup. I mentioned to everybody in the alert room prior to market open that this was my high probability setup. Let's listen in. Posted for you at 9:16 a.m. Eastern, again, before market open.
My favorite setup is probably on PayPal. I really like this setup. It's just, I don't know if we're going to get a push on this further if we see an overall market that is bearish or pulling back. But if PayPal runs and breaks 63, that's probably going to be my top watch for today.
So let's talk about PayPal. Why was this such a high quality setup to me? Regardless of the setup that was presented on the daily time frame, what we have on the 5-minute time frame is a rally up the previous day and a pullback that holds the majority of those gains. So we know in the market that there's an ebb and flow, right? Stocks don't just continue in a linear path straight up forever. There is an ebb and flow. Stocks will move up, then they will move back, and then the next leg is usually up if they are to continue. So with PayPal today, as long as we got a flat open, which we pretty much did, the stock already made leg 1 and 2, which is a rally up and then the pullback, holding the gains. Therefore, the next leg is most likely going to be a move up. I like to call this pattern the fish hook pattern because it looks like an inverted fish hook where you have a rally up and then a pullback and then a flat open. So anytime you see this setup on the 5-minute time frame, your immediate thought should be, let's look for higher highs and a break above the previous day's high of day for a continuation. To add to that, on the daily chart time frame, PayPal was breaking out of a month-long range. That's what this big move was yesterday. And let me clean up the chart so you can see it. Most likely meant that the momentum was here, the volume was here stepping in, and the stock is most likely ready to push higher. So straight off of the day trade watch list today, PayPal was a long idea above $63. Moving back to the 1-minute time frame, PayPal opens up at the PDC, presses up off of it, which looks good, rejects 63 the first time, which is fine, puts in a higher low, and that dip starts to get bought right back up to break $63. Now, understanding that the stock has already done all of this consolidation in the pre-market and the day prior under 63, when it breaks 63, most likely it's just going to keep going. So for that reason, I made the decision to market buy on the break of $63. This was noted for you in the alert room and it's timestamped. 9:35 a.m. PayPal took entry. I give you the contracts, I give you my fill price, and I give you my stop loss. By the way, prior to this entry, I give you the contracts and I tell you I've loaded PayPal, no position yet. So that way, all we have to do when we get the confirmation is press buy. From here, it's just simply trade management. PayPal now up 10%, now up 15%, now up 20%, reminding you of the contracts, the fill price, and the current price of those contracts. And then I tell you what I'm doing here. Sold some and I'm holding some. This was at 9:37 a.m., which timestamps right here as we're getting the move up into the high of day. Now, typically, I will aim for a 20% profit and then stop and sell the whole position out right there. However, given the quality of setup that PayPal was, I knew that there was a chance that we could aim for higher than 20% profits on this and really capitalize on it. So for that reason, I decided to scale out of this trade, now up 30%, trail stopping it up, right? Moving stop loss to break even, now up 30%, sold some, holding some at 9:38. That's 1 minute later. And then I tell you that my hard stop is moved up even further, up to 75 cents. Next sell target is 1.06. That's going to give us 50% profit on the trade. And sure enough, we hit that at 9:41 a.m., which is right here. Those contracts we sold out at 1.06, they wound up topping out at 1.40, which meant that this position did run over 100%, and potentially we could have held for that 100% move up to the high of day. But this is so much extension without any sort of pullback. My fear was that this was going to come back on us pretty heavily, and I wanted to make sure I was locking in the profits while they were being offered. I go on to say that that is how you run a high quality setup, and what I meant by that is when you have a high quality setup in your books and in your arsenal, and you see that setup forming on your charts, take advantage of it. For one, consider sizing up on it. Two, consider scaling out of the trade when you get the confirmation so that you can capitalize on more profits than what you normally look for. These types of trades are the trades that are going to make your week or make your month sometimes, and that is why I sized up on this position. I did not use 100% of my portfolio balance, but I did use around $5,000 capital. Now on the pullback retest of 63, we made the decision not to go back in on PayPal because SPY at that time was selling pretty aggressively below the previous day's closing price, and it just didn't look like a market sentiment that would continue up. So remember what I said from the talk in the pre-market. I said PayPal looks good for a continuation if we have market sentiment that allows for a continuation. If we see a market that's selling off, PayPal most likely will not give us that continuation. And sure enough, as soon as SPY starts to sell off, PayPal does not give us that higher high from here. So I hope that the video has helped you out. Key takeaways: find your A+ setup, size up on your A+ setup, and let your winners run on your A+ setup. Press that like button for me if the video has helped you out, and consider subscribing to the YouTube channel as well. It's just the best way to support me as a content creator, and it's free to do. Thank you so much for your time, and I will see you next week when we continue the $1,000 account challenge. Cheers.